Ni kadege Batisi TV. Bat pidang pet yaki kubor paman kasni. Balawan rasya pidang Modrina Auto Enterprises Maulanong Kwar TSS Road Shillong. Ringkat bat ka Orange Nissan Looms Hope Ho Shillong. Wan bantiet yaka Kali Datsun ready go batamai. Kabas kem bat bidor.
Haka arpu waiterik urisau arhajar arpo. Menteri Rangba jangka sorkar Jylla Konrad Konggal Sangma ula Aiti ya ki micro ATM syaki Kynhun Ïatreilang ne ya ki bangitip hagakti nongway kum ki self help group ki bajutray kam haki benta bapher jangka Jylla kabanlong kaway ne kilat kaban yarap ya ki bakinlait na kabalait yenglain ban kinsyaw pisa haki bang. Hado menta ki don kumba arpu 1,000 teli ki Kynhun Ïatreilang haka Jylla barok kaway. But hado menta ke Meghalaya State Rural Livelihood Society kala ai jing hikairu syaki bang sakhi ki ban yarap pat yakini ki Kynhun Ïatreilang bakindup nang ban kinsyaw pisa hakini ki micro ATM.
The welfare and the economic growth of the state is highly dependent upon the accessibility of its citizens to financial products and services. While banks are making efforts to bring the sector to the fold of formal financial service, a significant gap still exists between implementation and the actual ground reality. Hence, there is a need to shift from the brick and mortar concept of banking and explore the business corresponding model. Meghalaya has only 417 bank branches, out of which only 188 banks are located in rural areas. Due to the low number of bank branches in the state, there is a huge pressure on the bank to service the large number of customers and unlike other customers. SHG members with relatively low initial background require guidance and support to carry out their bank transaction. Rural bank branches with limited staff are not in a position to provide necessary support to this SSG. In addition to their normal work, therefore SSG members are often required to wait for long hours just to open savings bank account. Sometimes SSG are required to make several attempts on visit to the bank just for an account.
We have been struggling, I should say, when it came to banking infrastructure and connectivity and providing financial services to the rural masses in the rural areas. It's been a huge challenge for I think most of the states and for government of Meghalaya especially. We have seen that in terms of the number of banks, as will be mentioned by the Honorable Minister CNRD, we have just 13,916 per person, people per bank branch, compared to a national average of 9,170. So I think the number of bank branches and the accessibility at the grassroots level has been very, very low. And obviously that has affected the overall economic development, it has affected the overall implementation of schemes of Government of India and the Government of Meghalaya at the grassroots level. So therefore, with the use of basic technology, with the use of the manpower that is there available at the village level, not only are we able to provide the access and the availability of finances and the implementation of government schemes at the grassroots level to the villagers at their doorstep by use of technology, but we are also creating employment out of these different households and individuals who will now have an additional income by simply providing the funds at the doorstep and within the vicinity of their village or that area which they are covering. So there is a multiple benefit in this. It's what we call a win-win situation. Nobody loses in this. Everybody is gaining, everybody is winning. It's a formula that should have been done a long time back, and now it should be pushed to ensure that we cover the whole state with this. Yes, the brick and mortar banks are needed because there are certain benefits to that, in the sense that even the bank sakis and the banking correspondents will need to go to the bank to ultimately get the cash out and put it. So if that bank is very far, then it really makes it very difficult for them. So the basic infrastructure, or I should say the way we should work in this, is like a hub and spoke model. So therefore the brick mortar bank will be the hubs which will act as a central point, and then you have the spokes, which are these BCs and the bank sakis, who will then use these funds and ensure that it reaches the people at the grassroots level. So I think it's important to get a combination of both of these, and a strategy that's going to combine these two. And as government and as finance department and as the minister and chief minister in charge of finance, I've been very, very clear that the banking infrastructure must go up. So therefore, not only are we going to promote these banking correspondents more, I have discussed in detail with our finance department and with our CRA department, and I was just having a talk with our chairperson of MRB, that we would target that within this financial year, before March, another 200 banking correspondents must come out, minimum that is. So whatever financial support needs to be given, whatever training that needs to be given, as a government we are committed to do that, and I would be very happy if this process would continue with MRB and with MSRLS and NABARD, and we can push through and get a minimum of at least another 200, which is not enough, but it's not easy to set this up. It requires a lot of work to be put in, but that would be a minimum target that we are trying to achieve, and I'm sure that this will help and really ease